Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the MindShare podcast. This is where we cut through the noise, say the things that most people won't say, and give you straight talk, marketing, and success strategies to help you work smarter, build MindShare, and grow a business that actually makes you money. So here's where we're at right now. Markets are soft. Headlines, always normal, mixed. Some agents are pulling back. But I believe that this is the moment that those of you who show up will win. You've heard me say it many times. What goes up must come down. Well, what goes down must go up. And we're in that down phase right now. But what you do right now determines how high you climb and how much success you're going to have when things actually turn around. And we're not that far off. If you listen to last week's episode, you know what I found out from those top economists that I had the conversations with. We're in a 12-month, I don't even want to say waiting period right now. I want to say that probably in the next 12 months, we're going to see ourselves in a much better spot than we are today. So what you do right now. Anyhow, we're going to get into that. And today we're going to talk about how to operate aggressively in a softer market, where to invest your time and your energy when leads just aren't flowing. We're going to talk about what systems are going to protect you through the up and down cycles no matter what. Let's get into it. So speaking of the what, I want to talk about the market. I want to talk about why it's soft right now. I've been doing some digging into the headlines and obviously having a lot of conversations with a lot of different people in the industry, paying attention to what's going on. And dare I say the media, I really try to stay away from the mainstream media. But in saying that, of course, we've got certain places we look to get data and just see, what are those voices telling us? And we know that Korea reported that home sales on the MLS in August were actually up by just over a point, so 1.1% month over month. Now, you can check that out. Go to Korea's statistics on their website. You'll be able to read the most recent articles there. But they say it was the best month of August for sales since 2021. And the fifth straight monthly increase in activity, making for what they say, a cumulative 12.5% rise since March. Now, I know the summer seemed real soft, and quite frankly, for many people it did. For most people it did, in fact. And I think there was a lot of people that watched kind of that mid-July through August timeframe be much quieter. And again, if you're sitting there shaking your head saying, no, I wasn't quiet, I was good. Hey, listen, you were of the small percentage that was. And I'm going to encourage you to look back at what you were doing in the previous 6 months to say, how did you get to that point? Because again, you were one of the small few that were actually rocking at that time. Most people were not. It's kind of a quieter sort of 6-week period. So to hear that home sales in August were up, I guess that's optimistic. That's a good thing. It's showing some sign of maybe some bounce back in the market. Really like to see that. Now, in saying that, the price indices are mostly flat or even down from what they say. So national average prices, 3.4% year over year. So we're seeing the change. And I mean, again, this is where I'm trying to prep you right now, mentally, strategically, to think to yourself, the things I do now are what are going to help me and save me and create a whole ton of success for me in the coming months. Again, we're seeing things slowing. We're seeing home sales starting to come up a little bit. We're seeing prices are still down. We've seen interest rates adjusted. I mean, CMHC is expecting that, CMHC expected to see about a 2% decline, sort of, across most regions. And why? And again, you can go to their website for all of this stuff. But I mean, there's some obvious signs to that. Pressures on pricing, affordability. I mean, just bottom line, it's it's very, very difficult out there. And the more that you do pay attention to what is going on, just generally speaking, out there, we know that we've got issues with immigration. We know that people are coming in, and there's some great questions being asked by a lot of MPs right now. Has the federal government, have they actually looked at the impact that all of this immigration is having? The cost to Canadians to have all these people come in who aren't bringing anything with them, but are really taking advantage of the systems. I mean, there was a great conversation I saw the other day about food banks and how there's such a rise in people who need the food banks. And it goes without saying, when affordability is what it is and groceries are what they are, and just, again, affordability, cost of living, people are going to need more help. What we're also seeing, though, as a trend is that a lot of the folks that are just coming in now are the ones that are flocking there. So again, I know. Dave, how did you go from like the market update to that? Well, what I'm saying here is right now, there's a lot of stress on the actual economy. There's a stress on affordability. And of course, again, when it comes to affordability, the pricing of properties needs to come down in order to get anything moving. Did that connect the dots for you? We know that obviously right now demand isn't as high. With so much happening out there in the world, people's minds are focused in a bunch of different places, and of course, coupled with affordability, price pressures, again, demand isn't going to be jumping through the roof. In saying that, as we've seen interest rates begin to come down, we've seen already one announcement in September. We've got another one coming up later this month, and then potentially, maybe, there's speculation that there could be a third by the end of this year. Maybe. Either way you slice it, rates are starting to come down, which is going to start to spark people's minds, spark some desire to potentially make a move. And of course, there's, I guess that brings us to the third point there of like uncertainty. People are totally uncertain what's going on. I would tell you, even personally speaking right now, if I decided I want to make a move, I mean, first, the thing's weighing on me. And again, this is the type of stuff you got to think about when you're thinking to yourself, how do I explore helping this individual make a move? Why are they maybe reluctant to do it right now? Why is there lower demand? Or maybe higher demand? But if I think about it, I think about my kids, their friends, their school, their sports, their life, their freedom that they have right now. I think about proximity to, my parents, my wife's parents. They're not getting any younger. Just being around for family. But I would also say to you, when I look around now, I would like to get out of where I am because it no longer is what it was. It doesn't feel like home anymore. Now, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today with you. It might get there. But continuing with this, right? Again, when we talk about, seeing the declines in many regions and kind of what's going on with the market, price pressures, lower demand, uncertainty, all leading to sort of why the mindsets are what they are. Now, TD sees an average year-over-year price growth of about 7% in some provinces. But also says that's not going to be, this long-term heated thing. We are going to see some cooling coming. Again, all of these are the signs. These are the signs you've been looking for to say this is the moment. When things are down, this is when we dive in. Ottawa, here, and I mean, I will go down this one for a moment, but Ottawa just launched the Build Canada Homes. And again, we know that they're promising to crank out like 500,000 homes a year to solve affordability. Like, I have no idea what they think that is going to solve. They've never hit 500,000 housing starts. 500,000, like I can't even think straight when I get so pissed off about the federal government right now. But they've never hit 500,000 housing starts ever. Like, not even close. Recently, there was an average of 285,000 houses or something. And that's with insane demand, insane immigration, like to a point where we can't handle it. We added nearly 1 million people last year to this country. And we only built 280,000 homes. Perspective. That's 5+ new people in Canada per single new home. How? They don't pay attention to any of this stuff, and they talk about knowing what Canadians want. I would like them to come ask some of us. I'd like them to come ask me. And I'm going to warn you again right now. If you're sitting there and saying, oh, the federal government is fantastic, and you say, David, wait a second, you're on the other side of this thing, I don't want to listen to your show anymore, please don't listen to the show anymore. I cannot bring myself to understand how they essentially turn down this The whole idea of bail reform, people not getting bail but actually staying in jail if they do something bad. No, we want to let them out. We're watching crime on the rise. There was literally a real assassination down the street from where I live the other day. Like, assassination? What's going on over here? We're seeing things we've never seen before right here where we live. This stuff just used to be in the headlines. And here we are, we've got a federal government lying to our faces, and people, for some reason, people are believing it. It doesn't make any sense. We've got labor shortages. People who don't want to work in the construction industry. How in the world are you going to be building this many homes? We've got municipal red tape, NIMBYism, zoning battles, costs for material, like just bottom line, the costs are ridiculous. All of this stands in the way. All of it. And even if 500,000 homes somehow happened, if they're mostly small condos or luxury builds that, like affordability barely moves. Look, politicians love big round numbers. They love just spewing stuff and talking about the fact that they know what's going on and what Canadians want. I don't remember them ever asking me. 500,000 homes. 500,000 homes. Sure, it sounds amazing in the headlines and on TV, but it's a fantasy. The feds haven't cracked the 300,000 starts in 50 years. So if you're waiting for Ottawa to save affordability, if you're waiting for Ottawa to solve something, Ottawa's not solving anything. They're breaking everything. And if you're just waiting, you're going to be waiting forever. The landscape of this great nation, this great country, is changing right in front of our eyes. And the thing that gets me the most is that people are seeing it, they're watching it. Most people remember the past years, and they're still allowing it. 0 cents made. 0. Now think about this. Soft markets, they start to compress your margins. Right? How much are we putting out? What are we getting back? How much can we afford to put out? They actually they even, it causes less leads to flow in, right? Like it gets weakened. And what all that does is when margins get tighter and the leads stop flowing the way they did at one time, that rock star time when everybody thought they were amazing. Like, look at me. I've got an Instagram account. I sell a house in 30 seconds and I'm a rock star. No, you're not. You're the beneficiary of an incredible market. So those folks that are not prepared, well, markets like this challenge those people. But it also, markets like this, it gets rid of the weak. And it leaves place for you, the strong, the disciplined agent, for you to position yourselves as the go-to agent. To rise above all those people that just have a license and truly differentiate yourself. See, in a soft market, you're either going to shrink, or as I like to call it, you're going to sharpen the knife. See, if you shrink your effort, you're going to shrink your income. So if you stop doing things, if you stop being out there, if you stop the marketing, the amount of money you make is going to be smaller. But if you sharpen that knife, you polish those systems, you execute daily with discipline no matter what, that separation between those agents that have no idea which way's up and you, it starts to grow. And you start to create a bigger gap, which creates more opportunity, and you win more. Understand that. That is the difference maker for you right now. When all of those people are pulling back, when all of those people are hiding out, when all of those people realize they can't cut it, that's where you start to win. So just don't be those people, because that's most people. And you don't want to be most people, because most people do not achieve what they want. Okay, so as is typical, I want to give you some action steps here. Dave, what can I do with everything you just said? Here. First, pull some key metrics. Okay, some of the stuff I shared with you today, just high-level stuff, but, affordability and sales and inventory range, average days on market. I mean, figure out what's going on in the core area that you work. Know what's soft, when they say soft market, know what that means more geared towards your local community, your neighborhood where you work. You don't have to worry about stuff that's going on across the country from you. You can have insight into it. You can have knowledge about it. You can learn about it. But really figure out what it means in your neighborhood. Next up, communicate to educate. As I say all the time, control the narrative. Post something up on your socials. Send out an email to people on your list. Let them know what's going on. Let them know why even all this stuff that the government talks about, 500,000 homes, it's not going to fix affordability. But don't just echo what people are saying. Translate this into what reality would look like for your people. And quite frankly, that's exactly what I'm trying to do with you right now. Right? Bringing up some stats, talking about what's going on out there, then helping you understand how does it impact you and your business. How does it impact you and your business, and how does it help you drive more business? And then go back to some of those, some of your past deals. And this is something that I tell, again, all of my coaching clients on a regular basis. And I would tell you the same. And I've told you this before. But go back and look at where most of your deals come from. Figure out, what is the driver? Is there a certain channel you're using for marketing? Is there a certain group of people that it's coming from? And then scale. Because if you can figure out, where the fish are, if you want to call it that way, then go back to that pond. Okay, so again, pull some metrics. Simplify things for people. Control the narrative. Tell them about it. And then go backwards in your data and figure out, where am I getting my deals from? Because again, there's deals to be had out there, guys. There's deals to be had right now. All right, let's move on here. We just talked about leads being scarce. Not as many of them coming through, the uncertainty, the affordability, you name it. So where do we invest when this happens? There's been a time, and I knock on this a lot, but the paid ads. All of this stuff, paid ads, cold lead funnels, like the strangers going after it becomes more expensive, right? We talk about the margins. This is where your ROI shrinks. So if you're spending way too much money trying to chase business from total strangers, and there's not as many strangers out there, well, of course, back to what I said a moment ago with the fish in the pond. There's less fish in the pond. But for some reason, there's more people going to the pond, which means you're going to catch less fish. Maybe some, not at all, but you're going to be spending lots of money. Now, on the flip side of all of that, relationship-based marketing. That is your gold. Referrals, repeat business, your COI. These are the ones that save you. They save you in the good times, and they certainly are the ones that save you in the bad times. We've got to focus on them, not going after the strangers, group number 2, but focusing on group number 1 and really leaning in at this moment. Using things like direct mail. And I know Canada Post at this very moment is on strike. Will Canada Post up and disappear? I find it very, very, very hard to believe that Canada Post is just going to up and disappear. There's too much that is reliant on that. It's almost like the internet disappearing. And maybe that's a stretch. I think the internet has completely surpassed everything. Everything runs on it. I'd love to unplug it. I think we'd go back to being just normal human beings again. I digress. I'll talk about that one another time, but I've probably talked about it before. But direct mail, that physical touch, it's different, right? We're so overloaded with technology. We're so overloaded with digital media. We're so overloaded with like I don't even pick up my phone anymore when people call, unless I see that I know your name. Because most of the time it's spam. Or it's a scam, or both. Let's put it that way. So we're so jaded to all this stuff that when you get back to the physical touch, you get back to stuff like direct mail, handwritten notes, birthday cards. They start to become a lot more effective. Even if you want to go after group number 2, the strangers, the community that you work, again, the physical touch is going to be a lot more effective. Because the digital world is just so overly saturated. A lot of agents, when things get tough, they start to just go dark, right? They're paying for online ads. Nothing's happening. Paying online leads, whatever you call it. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. And then what do? They pull back because, well, they didn't work with me. They didn't do a proper marketing budget. They didn't figure out what they could actually afford and what long-term strategy looks like. They did what most people do. They threw shit at the wall and they hope it stuck. The problem with that is it only lasts so long. Affordability starts to kick in, and then you realize you're like, shit, I'm out of money. Bang. Margins. Right? ROI. So when they're doing that, this is when we need to show up. Again, when most people go dark, that's when we show up. When you've got strong relationships, that's going to be the major difference maker for you. That's going to be that security blanket that you put over you, over your business, that lasts beyond any up or down cycle. It doesn't matter. Because when new leads actually slow down, your database, it's not just your backup, it's your front line. It always is, regardless of the new leads or not. But if you weren't emailing, if you weren't doing the mail, if you weren't calling them, it's going to be tough. So right now, again, I can't emphasize this enough, this is your moment. So take some action. Here, look ahead at the next 2.5 months right now and really get a handle on what your email schedule looks like when you're sending emails, what kind of stuff you're sending, what you're talking about. Are you sending any mail? Again, a mailed newsletter, a birthday card to anybody, maybe a CMA. What are you doing for the holidays? And are you making your calls? Get those 3 things locked in, those 3 channels to help you build MindShare. The emails are passive, but they're informative. The physical mail, again, passive, very informative. The calls are active, again, very informative. And make sure that you're targeting those people in the contact list. Okay? Look at your contact list. How about that? When was the last time you looked at it properly? And I know, again, if you're coaching with me, you're looking at it regularly, as you should be. And you're probably saying, Dave, I know this stuff. Good. Here's your reminder. Here's further reinforcement to why we do what we do. But go back to your list and ask yourself, who haven't I spoken to in a while? Who's not set up in my 10-year plan, my bulletproof follow-up system? I got to get to those people. And yeah, when we think about mail, although Canada Post is on strike at the moment, they will come back. And even if it's I can't send the mail in the mail at the moment, having a physical printed piece here that you can even go out and you want to cultivate some news, go meet some new people. Go out and do a door knock while the weather is still favorable, because shortly it's not going to be. Speak with people. Get out there. Meet them. Let them meet you. Give them the flyer. Support your message. Build a true connection. Or at the very least, even if they're not interested to do anything, you've got the door cracked open a little bit. And it leads to the potential of a future conversation. Right? So again, when we think about, where to invest, where do I put my time, what happens if the leads are sort of slowed down, think about what the next 2.5 months looks like. Think about your contact list and the people you haven't spoken to in a while. And get out there and physically meet people. That's going to be your difference maker because, again, most people are hiding, most people are lazy, most people just don't want to do, and therefore, most people just won't achieve. Okay, time for a quick little commercial break here. This episode is powered by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. This is your engine for consistent outreach, driving more repeat and referral business, a CRM connected to a calendar, connected to a contact list, and connected to a very powerful marketing suite, which includes AI, which includes websites, which includes social and email blasts and newsletters, everything you need to generate a lot more business in real estate. Check it out. Go to mindshow101.com, click on marketing. And of course, if you got questions, you can either reach out direct to my team or even DM me, and I will make a personal introduction for you to my team. REM Real Estate Magazine, your trusted source of Canadian real estate insights. And REVEL Realty, redefining real estate with bold marketing and purpose. Of course, don't forget to grab your ultimate marketing bundle at mindshare101.com/free. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's talk calls. Let's talk conversations. Let's talk overcoming avoidance. See, the single most neglected activity in any market, and I'll say especially soft markets, making calls. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. I do. I've got to talk to somebody. Oh my God, I don't know what to say. What if I sound stupid? What if they say no? What if they don't pick up? What if they ask me a question I don't have the answer for? What if we could do all the what ifs we want in the world, okay? But I'm going to call those excuses. See, most people don't make the calls because they're scared of that rejection. They don't know exactly what to say. Maybe their energy isn't as high as they want it to be in that moment. And look, that's fair. Sometimes when you're just not feeling it, you're not feeling it. And when it comes to lack of script, like not knowing what to say, I mean, try starting with a hello. How are you? I'll go further and say if you're taking the proper notes every time you talk to somebody, then you're going to know exactly what to say the next time you talk to somebody. Because you know what you talked to them about last time. You know what's going on in the world right now. There's lots we can chat about. But I promise you this. If you're scared to get rejected, if you're scared to pick up the phone and have that conversation, you're in the wrong business. You cannot survive in the world of real estate, in the world of sales, in the world of small business. Doesn't matter if you're in real estate or some other business. You can't survive if you're not making the calls, if you're not doing the relationship, if you're not connecting with people. See, every call you don't make is a lost opportunity. And that is going to bite you in the ass. It's going to compound when this market begins to turn. And like I said, in my mind, the market is beginning to turn. Optimism is starting to come a little bit. We've seen the cracks. We're almost at that dip, that low point that everybody's just I had enough. Well, at some point, we start to move back up. And again, you don't make those calls, you're missing the opportunities. And don't wait till the headlines jump out, because if you're not making the calls now, when the headlines jump out, they're calling somebody else. And here's the other thing, too. I've said this many times before, especially if you've been in the room on, one of my presentations. Confidence breeds success, and success breeds confidence. Okay? You build confidence through action, through doing. And then you build momentum through doing it one call at a time. So if I commit to myself on my calendar that I'm going to make my calls, and then I begin to make my calls, those calls begin to get easier. I start to develop a better script in my mind. I start to build more confidence. And then I do another call. And then another call. And I got momentum going. And now I get more confident. And it's just this awesome, awesome cycle. But you don't become confident by being perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection. You become confident by doing what scares you. And in this case, I'd say dialing. Pick up the phone and make the calls. See here, just a moment ago before the commercial break, I told you, look ahead in the next 2 months. What are you doing? Look back at your contact list. Who haven't you spoken to? So here, just even to help you with that further, some action steps here. Prepare a short little script for yourself. You could even ChatGPT that stuff if you want to, but don't just regurgitate what ChatGPT said. You got to put this stuff in your own words. Keep it simple. Because if you call me with a script, I'm going to smell you from a mile away. But think about something real simple. I'm going to open up, I'm going to say hi. I'm going to think about some sort of value that I can deliver. And then maybe I'm going to go for the CTA, right? The ask. I've taught this as HVC in the past. Hook, value, call to action. And this is very similar. The hook is a hello, because you're on the phone. It's not just an ad anymore or an email, but the hook is a hello. The value is in what you're calling to talk about, whether it's their vacation, whether it's their kids, or whether it's the market or something else. And the ask is to see if they have any questions. Do they want to know more? Would they like to do X? Okay, so again, think about when we're going, okay, I don't know what to say. Three little points, a hello, a value, and an ask. Mark them down. What would they be? Then go ahead, and again, I alluded to this a moment ago, but schedule accordingly. Schedule a 30-minute block in your day. Okay? Do it for the next 5 days. And make sure in that 30-minute block you're making your phone calls. But protect that block. Do not let anything get in between. Treat it like a listing presentation. And then, when done, after every call, log it. Go into your CRM, add the note. Here's what we talked about. Here's what we said. Here's what we either agreed on or how we closed out the conversation. Or maybe you just say, I left a voicemail. And yes, track that. And then, very importantly, schedule your next touch. Okay? No call should happen as just its own call. We've got to make sure there's always a next touch point. And whether you've agreed to it with that person or not, we want to make sure that there's a next touch point. Okay, so again, make the calls. Make the calls. Okay, stop avoiding. This is where we're going to create more conversation. We're going to build more rapport. That rapport is going to lead to more opportunity. The opportunity, well, those are deals. Just hoping and praying on a social media post or some random online ad, it ain't a strategy. Okay, so again, you're preparing some talking points for the call. Think hello, think some value, think some ask, like an ask. You're scheduling time blocks, and you're tracking the notes. Okay, and always schedule the next touch point. And that's where we're going to create the momentum, and then you're going to build the confidence, then you're going to have the success, and then you're going to say, oh my God, why wasn't I doing this sooner? I'm telling you, it works. In fact, go to the website, MindShare101.com. Click on coaching. And read all the amazing good news stories from so many of our clients who will tell you, who will reinforce for you how much it works. Okay, let's get to our final sort of segment of today's show. And this is where we're going to look at where we are right now, and we're going to start to plan for where we want to be at this time next year. With all this talk about the market and how to close deals and how to get more opportunities, this quarter of the year, Q4, it's not just about closing deals. This market is about setting yourself, this time of the year is about setting yourself up for what to do next year. What's going on in 2026? What am I going to do? How am I going to have success? What does the plan look like? Because we can't roll into 2026 without a plan. Otherwise, we're already behind the 8 ball. And I've challenged all of my coaching clients. We're going to be ready for 2026 by December 1st. That's our goal. Now, your holiday marketing. Right now, this should be in motion. You should be deciding what you want to send to people. You should be deciding who the people are. And you should be getting the contact list together so that it goes out on time, so that you're organized, so that when you do figure out what you're sending, you have the people that you want to send to, and everything's very simple. So are you sending a mailer? Are you sending a gift? Are you hosting an event? Whatever you're doing, that should be in motion now. Do not wait till the end of this month. Do not wait till November. You will be behind. Doing it now gives the opportunity to do it calmly, to fix any problems, to do it, I'd say that. Like, to just be planned and prepared. And at the same time, make sure that everything happens smoothly. So it's if you were hosting an event and you want to send out some invitations, well, we don't just want to host an event and say, I'm doing it next week and I send out invites this week. We want to lead up to that, right? We want to have a series of different emails and social posts and maybe invites and phone calls that we lead up so we can get the most people to the event. Same thing. I want to have the gift or the whatever dropped off by a certain time. Okay, we got a plan now. Anyways, point made, I'm pretty certain. And if you didn't get it, we got bigger issues. Okay, here. Speaking of holiday marketing, our Kits Wow calendars, I want to make sure I share that with you. More calls than you get on your birthday. These things stay on the wall, on the fridge, on the desk, whatever, all year long. Each calendar is fully customized and branded to you with your look, your feel all over the place. Whatever, any calendar company does that. The best part about this, though, and this is where we are completely unique at Kits, is that every calendar is highly personalized to each contact. So the actual picture for that particular month, January, then February, each image is different. They're unique. In saying that, though, your clients' names are actually in the picture. So if it's a picture of a really nice car with a license plate, it'd actually have the person's name on the license plate. Or like a beautiful picture of the beach, it would have the person's name like written in the sand. These things are keepers. They will remember it. And when we talk about building MindShare, this will get you a ton of market share. They'll even show it off to people. They might even post it on social media, and now you're building a ton of MindShare. So think about the WOW calendars as an amazing, amazing option for your holiday mailers for this year. And again, start getting organized now. Now, the other thing to think when we talk about Q4, when we talk about 2026, is that when you're operating in chaos, it's very difficult to figure out what's working and what's not. Instead, though, if you've got a process for what you do and a way that you operate and you're systematized where you can look at the calendar and you can get a sense of like what time of the year is it, what should I be doing at this time, that's going to help you float. The key here is to track everything. Same way I said tracking the notes and schedule the next touch point with the phone calls. Same thing here. Tracking overall when it comes to marketing, your deals, where they're coming from. Like I said, our coaching clients, we've got an awesome tracker that we use to really pinpoint where business come from. So it's very easy to know what pond to go back to and find more deals. It's seamless. That, though, tells you if the process that you've got is actually working. Right? Because if you've got actual tracking happening and you can figure out where every deal is coming from and again, which contacts and what marketing channels, we just go back to those things and we keep going. And we just tweak along the way. So again, as we look at Q4, we look at 2026, track your actions, track your activities. Too many agents run around in chaos. Again, that's most people. But those are the people that it becomes a lot easier to beat when you've actually got a process. See, when we've got process, when we've got a system, again, we get ahead of the game, and preparation will lead to a lot of success. But if you wait until December to start your planning, your business planning, your marketing planning, your holiday mailers, you got to think you've already missed January. If you wait until December, you've already missed January. So your Q4, you're right now, this moment where you're in right now, this sets the tone for what your pipeline is going to look like off the top of 2026. Understand that. This is not a time to loaf. This is not a time to coast. You do have the opportunity to pull in a few more deals this year, potentially, maybe, still time to close those. But if you don't, all the work you do right now is going to get you starting 2026 on a very high note. And that would be just an amazing, amazing way to start the year, wouldn't it? For those of you flying blind, stop. You need metrics for the activities you do, what you do. You need metrics for the results you get. What you do, well, what does it produce? So the types of activities, when we think about KPIs, right, key performance indicators, some of the things we want to be looking at, and these are some of the trackings that when I tell you to track so you can tweak, these are just a couple high-level things to think about, but activity. How many outbound calls are you making? Do you track that? We track it over here at MindShare every day. Every single day we want to know how many calls went out. For many of us. We want to know how many texts were sent. How many DMs we had that day. How many database touches we had in the week. Did we send out email this week? Of course we did. We send it out twice a week. Did we send out mail this week? What did we send? I want to track all of it. I want to know exactly what we're doing across every channel. Because as I track the volume of what we're doing, again, what we do, I can then translate that, or I can compare that to the results we get, and then I can start to understand more of, again, where should I be fishing? What's working right now? What's not? So we're tracking activity. Naturally, we want to track results. based on the activity you took, did you book any appointments? How many? And we're doing this daily, guys. Daily, because you're not going to remember it week over week. You're just not. And at some point, you're going to fall off the routine. But if we can build the habit, trigger, action, reward to do this every day, it takes 10 minutes max just to do the tracking. Mark it down. And now, day over day, you can compare. Week over week, you can compare. Month over month, you can compare. Year over year, you can compare. And you can see what activities you're doing versus what results you're getting. So again, how many appointments did you book? What does your pipeline look like right now? Like your active pipeline. Maybe track that in like a dollar figure, right? If you've got it, what does that cost per lead? What is your advertising dollars giving you back? Hoping that something will work isn't a strategy. If you're not measuring your activity, if you're not measuring the results, if this isn't managed, the market will eat you alive. And obviously, nobody wants to just kind of limp or crawl into January. I don't know about you, but I want to be sitting there at the starting line, and the minute it's Jan 1, I want to hit the throttle on that bike, and I want to go 1,000,000 miles an hour. Because I know most people are going to be on their holiday hangovers, and I'm going to get this wicked advantage that I could take advantage of that's going to set me ahead of everybody else. Why wouldn't I take it? Why wouldn't you take it? So here, action steps. Audit your 2025 marketing. Look back on this year. Truly ask yourself what worked. Have a real conversation about what didn't work. And then make adjustments. 2, lock in your holiday mailers this month. Your gifts, whatever you're doing, lock it in this month. Have it planned now. Don't wait. 3, pick some KPIs to measure, some key performance indicators, okay? Maybe start with 3 of them. 3 activity KPIs, 3 result KPIs, and review them daily. Then review them weekly. Then review them monthly. You're going to start to see a picture being painted, and it's going to trigger something in your subconscious to kick your butt to say, hey, do more of this. Whether you're not doing enough or you're doing enough, either way you slice it, we're going to learn a lot about where your success comes from. 4, block time this month for your 2026 business planning. No joking around. Do not wait until December. It'll be too late. You need to be prepped by December 1 to walk into January ready to go. Okay? December 1. So January starts in December. Block time now. It sucks. It's tedious. But it can also be a lot of fun. In fact, it could spark something in you that want to drive you to do more. And the 5th one here, going to encourage you. Consider coaching. We've got our one-to-one coaching track. We've got our MindShare Collective group coaching track. We are here to help you design and execute your plan. And I challenge you to look back on this past year. I challenge you to look back on the past number of years. And don't take 21 and 22 and go, look at me, I made the most money ever. Yeah, everybody made the most money they ever made at that time. I want you to think now. What did this past year look like? What did the last year look like? What's on your mind? What's got you caught? What's got you thinking, I need some help, or I wish I had some help? And of course, it's nice. Hey, if you've got a great manager or broker, go see them. If you've got an accountability partner, go see them. The difference, though, with a coach is that we work with people every single day that are running through a lot of the same struggles. So we've got a ton of solutions in our mind. And everything we do in a day is geared towards helping you get to your next level. That's the difference. It's not random. It's not, oh, let me see if I got a minute. We are 100% focused on your growth. So if you're 100% focused on your growth, consider coaching. Go to myshow101.com, click on coaching, read more about the way it works, book a free Explore call. Talk to us, learn, just understand more about what it's about. I tell you right now, if you enjoy this show, if you enjoy the style, if you enjoy the ideas, just remember, yes, I'm speaking to you right now, The reality is I'm in a studio. I've got screens in front of me. I got lights in front of me. I got a microphone in front of me. So I'm speaking to many of you. But can you imagine when it's just you and me? Or you and one of my awesome coaches on our team? Can you imagine the amount of impact we're going to make when we can isolate and really personalize the entire thing right down to you and the way you work? Can you imagine the results we're going to get? Anyhow, you can hear my excitement. So again, I emphasize consider coaching. So a quick run through here again for our action steps from this final section, this final segment of our show today. Audit your 2025 marketing. Lock in your holiday mailers. Pick some KPIs for both activity and results. Review them daily. Block time this month, right now, for business planning for next year. And like I said, consider coaching. So look, bottom line. A soft market, it's not a death sentence. Instead, it's a proving ground. Ottawa's going to keep promising silver bullets without delivering on anything because that's just what happens. All they're doing is tearing us down. So if you double down on your systems, if you double down on your relationship marketing, if you make those phone calls we keep talking about, you're going to beat most people out there. This is episode number 356, and the work starts right now. Not when things get good again, but right now. Thanks again to Kits, to Rem, and to Revel for supporting the show. Be sure that you go to mindshow101.com/free to grab your free Ultimate Marketing Bundle. And if you need accountability, you want a plan to help you stay sharp through the ups, the downs, doesn't matter what cycle, again, be sure to check out our coaching, either our one-to-one coaching and or our MindShare Collective group coaching community. Until next time, keep building that MindShare because that's how you get the market share. Thank you for tuning in.